Have you ever watched a movie and thought, hey, that wasn't really that good, only to find out that your friends and the majority of other moviegoers actually liked said movie?
Ooh! That's tart.
I've encountered this scenario multiple times recently, and it's never not heartbreaking. As a movie lover, I want to love all movies, but this simply isn't possible. Bad movies are coming out every day, every hour, maybe every second. And with the rise in popularity in AI tools, pitifully short release windows, and abrupt cancellations, watching a movie and finding something to like in that movie is proving more and more difficult. Now trust me when I say that I am not one of those people who like to say that movies aren't good anymore, because they are. In fact, I think in a lot of ways movies are better than they ever have been. I truly believe there are several history-defining artists living among us today, people who will be remembered decades from now for what they did with the medium of film. What I can't deny, however, is that there's been a steady stream of passable, uninteresting films that drop out of nowhere. These movies usually star a massive celebrity, figuratively and literally, have enormous budgets and even bigger marketing campaigns. The directors, the writers, even the production company will brag about the film before it comes out. Someone will say something like, "A lot of movies nowadays take shortcuts. Not us. Everything you see is practical. Everything you see in the movie is handmade." Then the movie actually comes out and nobody cares. Nobody remembers them. They vanish from existence. Has anyone ever come up to you and asked you what you thought about The Electric State? I didn't think so. All I'm trying to say is we are getting amazing movies all the time, but the amount of care and effort put into them these days is definitely lacking when compared to other eras. It's pretty amazing what you can find when you go back to the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, 60s. Movies were still bad sometimes back then, but they looked amazing. The acting was amazing. There's a lot more effort. Basically, nowadays you have to wade through a lot of slop to find the gems. This raises an interesting question then. What happens when you do put a ton of effort into a movie, write a solid script, cast several rising young stars, and attach yourself to one of the world's most iconic franchises, and the movie still comes out bad? Today's going to be a little bit different for my channel. Instead of talking about films that I love and are impressed by, I'm going to talk about a film that has left me confused, disappointed, maybe even a little bit angry. Anyone already familiar with my channel and just me in general probably is aware that I love the Alien franchise. While not all created equally, I consider all of these movies to be my children. At the very top of the heap is the original Alien, which I consider to be one of the best movies ever made. For some reason, the general consensus, or at least the most common opinion I see online, is that Alien is good, but Aliens is better. I couldn't disagree more. For sake of time, I won't get into a whole rant defending my case, but the original Alien is so much better in my opinion. Aliens is mostly fine, as are the rest of the 4 original films. I like all of these movies to varying degrees, but none of them top the original. Now things get interesting with Prometheus and Alien Covenant. It's apparently very controversial to say that you've watched these movies, let alone that you enjoy them. So I'm a little scared to make this video, but I do very much enjoy these movies. I actually adore both, though I especially love Prometheus. Unfortunately, things died down after Covenant, either due to box office concern or just lack of positive reviews. However, after several years of waiting, Alien fans finally got another film in the franchise with Alien Romulus. I didn't keep tabs on Alien Romulus's development, but I was very curious to see how it would turn out. I wasn't expecting Fede Alvarez to take any big swings or any big risks, especially now that the Alien franchise was fully under the control of the Walt Disney Company. But hey, a new Alien movie is a new Alien movie. Oh, and this one's starring the girl from Priscilla? And it's directed by the guy who did that Evil Dead remake? What could go wrong? The first 30 minutes of Romulus are legitimately quite good. The tactility of Ridley Scott's original Alien film is maintained, or rather replicated here, as Alvarez shows off all of the buttons, all of the lights, the vents, the bolts, the screws, and metal doors of this miserable world in great detail. Our newer, younger protagonists are somewhat one-dimensional, but Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson do light up the screen, or your TV. I would have loved for Ridley Scott to complete his David trilogy as originally planned, but sure, sure, let's start simple again. Let's get some young people in these movies. Let's get younger people interested in these movies. Something Romulus does really well is its world building. It's very cool to see the world that Rain and Andy come from. This is something you don't get much from the rest of the franchise. Everything here is just miserable and dark. It's really well done sci-fi set dressing. Ironically, it's once we get into space that everything falls apart. Alien Romulus, when boiled down, is a pretty simple movie, which is one of the things I like about it. Kids need to get to outer space to steal a cryopod so that they can sleep through the years-long trip from their home world to a new planet. They want to escape. The conditions where they're living are horrible. They want a new life. It's a simple story. You've heard it a dozen times, but to see it in the Alien franchise is really cool. Escaping the brutality of an ultra-capitalist mining colony fits right in line with the rest of the franchise. Unsurprisingly, alien shenanigans ensue, and the crew are forced to run, to adapt, to fight, and to expel horrendous things from their body. The gore is good. The violence is good. The performances are good. The visuals are good. Almost everything about this movie on a base level is good. But Alien Romulus is a puddle or a kiddie pool, and it's hard to hide from face huggers in those things.
Something in the water.
What do you mean there's something in the water?
There's just something in the water.
As a movie lover, I really want to like Alien Romulus. As an Alien fan, I kind of hate it. Let's get into the bad. On its own, Alien Romulus is fine. The visuals are pretty good, although everything feels a touch too clean. It's obvious Fede is trying to emulate Ridley Scott's original film, and he manages to get the look of everything right, but Alien Romulus is kind of just lacking a lot of texture, a lot of grit. The worst thing here is that Alien Romulus doesn't really try or even care to stand on its own. Instead, it seems totally content to regurgitate things you've already seen. For some reason, be it embarrassing nerd vision goggles or a corporate mandated inclusion from Mickey Mouse himself, the plot of Alien Romulus is directly tied to the same robot we saw in the original Alien. He's called Rook here, but he inexplicably looks and sounds just like Ian Holmes' Ash, seen in Alien from 1979. Actually, wait, he doesn't really look like him or sound like him. I don't know if they AI'd this or if it's all some horrible CGI necromancy, but the effect simply doesn't work. It's very obvious the actors are talking to a computer-generated man in a room full of actual, really well done practical sets. It's kind of ironic when you look back at all the press and interviews that Alien Romulus had before it dropped, because this just goes in direct opposition of everything the director and the cast said about the movie. Immediately, I felt all of the goodwill, all of the hype, all of the excitement that I had built up watching this movie vanish as soon as we meet Rook. Plot-wise, he's meant to be the same type of robot that Ash was, so that's why he looks like a dead English actor. But why did this even have to happen? It very well could have been a brand new robot with an unknown actor playing him. Ian Holm passed away in 2020, and even if his estate okayed this decision, why do this to your movie? Each of the Alien films have had their own android. It's kind of a staple of the series at this point.
Hey, come on, quit messing around.
Don't
come
move.
on.
Trust me. Thank you.
I get that nostalgia can be an easy way to get people attached and engaged with your movie, but who was asking to see Ash again? It is not just a cameo. No, this Rook android is a core part of the plot. I think you could even call him an antagonist. Why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why?
Everything up until the moment we meet Rook was great. Why throw it all away on some Force Awakens nostalgia bait soft reboot memberberry hack job? I know it may sound like I'm being a little bit overcritical or maybe too impassioned. It's entirely possible that it's an Alien movie and that it really doesn't matter. This is something I fundamentally disagree with, though. Alien films aren't just gory sci-fi films, they're art. They're filled with deep themes that touch on complex issues such as class disparity, feminism, bodily autonomy, abortion, the origin of mankind. The list goes on and on. What also makes this franchise so special is that each film takes its own liberties and angles. There's a distinct voice behind each of the original 4 films. Whether or not you resonate with these voices is up to you, but Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection all bring something new to the table. Prometheus and Covenant were bold and ambitious returns from Ridley Scott, and while not every idea held up there, to me they're all still amazing works that add on to the Alien canon, the mythos, in really interesting ways. Alien Romulus is way too content to just shut up and play the hits. There's nothing new being shown or said or done that you haven't seen before. The Ian Holm thing is bad enough, but Romulus is also littered with these really out of place callbacks to the franchise. I get that it's cool to sprinkle in some Easter eggs into your film for fans to discover. I think that can be a fun thing. I think if you do it well, it can add to the movie. But I have a hard time believing this mining colony planet would also have the same bird water toy thing that the Nostromo had. There are also entire shots that are just copy and pasted from the rest of the franchise here. Most notably the one where Rain is taught how to use a gun. This is obviously mirroring Ripley in Aliens, but the way it's handled in Romulus is just so awkward. This is like the second interaction between these two characters at this point, and we've also never seen this gun being used before. What's worse is that the film kind of goes out of its way to explain how Rain would be able to even shoot the aliens. I don't know if this was intentional, but it really does feel like it was written specifically to appease those certain types of basement dweller, media analysis critic people who would take issue with the fact that this girl can shoot aliens. Feels like a remnant of that whole Mary Sue Ray from Star Wars era that I am so glad we're kind of out of now, but I don't know, it feels like Alien Romulus is directly addressing this for some reason. Callbacks are fine, but Alvarez seems way too eager to get out of his own way to include them in his film. Don't even get me started on the "get away from her, you bitch" line that Andy awkwardly recites. Ugh. Like I said, I'm not sure if this was a director-writer thing or if it was mandated by Disney to include, but either way, don't do it. Despite it being one of my top talents, I actually do hate to be a complainer. Alien Romulus is really paradoxical to me. There's things I really enjoy about it, such as the awesome anti-gravity scene toward the end, as well as the main characters. The alien designs are really cool, aside from that weird white gum thing that they all have. Visually, it's really impressive, and the ending is pretty great too. But as a new chapter into the Alien franchise, it's really disappointing. It all feels like someone else's memory of an Alien film. Sure, everything looks like it should, you hit all of the beats, but something deep down is just missing here. There's no soul. There's no personality, there's no stakes, there's no risks, there's no big swings. These are all things that the Alien franchise is known for. There's no weirdness either. Actually, the weirdness is another big miss. The franchise is full of bizarre directorial and narrative choices. From the infamous black goo to clone innuendos.
Watch me. I'll do the fingering.
The other Alien films all felt way more unique in this way than Romulus does too. There's no edge in Romulus, but maybe that's what I get for expecting an Alien film produced by Disney to feel at least a little bit human. It's almost a monkey's paw situation here. Alien Romulus did really well at the box office. This is good for Alien fans. We get more Alien content. Yay! But all of the executives and suits are probably going to take the wrong lessons here regarding Alien Romulus. One time is fine, but you can't just spit back up all of the good parts of the other movies again and again. Something different has to happen. Something weirder. Something newer. I'm not saying Fede Alvarez or whoever directs the next film doesn't have it in them to deliver an actually great Alien film, but after this, I'm doubtful that we will see something as interesting as Prometheus or even Alien 3. So the people out there who rank Alien Romulus above like Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, who are you? Can I ask why? This film pulls so heavily from the rest of the franchise, but what does it do better? What does it add? What does it do differently? Alien Resurrection is so weird, yeah, but at least it was original. I'm also just never gonna understand the hate that Prometheus and Covenant get. They're definitely weird, even stupid at times, but that's kind of part of the charm. Rarely do you get huge, big budget films where the director is clearly just having fun like Ridley Scott is with these. If you're gonna get the keys to the kingdom, do everything you can to make it worth it. Alien Romulus feels like one step forward but two steps back for a franchise that's always kind of been forward thinking and ahead of the game. Hopefully whatever is coming will be good, but it hurts that we will most likely never get to see the completion of Ridley Scott's third David film. I would have really liked to see what he was gonna cook there. But I mean, complaining about movies, like I don't enjoy this, but it's something I needed to get off my chest. I needed to take a stand. This is really brave of me. No, I'm actually kind of Kidding. I just really like the Alien franchise, and it's really disappointing when you get something like Alien Romulus that I know is technically a good movie. There's things that I really do enjoy and like about it. But the Alien fan inside of me, the chest burster, if you will, it's not coming out for this. It's such a borderline thing for me. I really appreciate the work that went into this movie, all of the sets and the effects and the gooey bits, but it all feels at odds with the nostalgia callbacks and the Ian Holm deep fake thing. It's such a weird product, and I think at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's really pretty, but it's kind of just 2 hours of brand realignment, something to get out of the way so that Disney can capitalize on the Alien franchise. It's all just empty calories. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. What do you think of Alien Romulus? I know a lot of people like it. I know a lot of people really love it. I know people that would rank it above Prometheus, Covenant, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, even the original Alien, which is just insane to me. But speak your truth. If you love Alien Romulus, let me know in the comment section down below or above or wherever YouTube decides to put it with the next update. But that's all from my channel today. Me and Big Chap over here are going to go watch more movies, hopefully good ones.